Hey everyone, rather Incoherent here. Today we're going to be playing a bit of Rimworld. And if you're wondering, how much have I played Rimworld before? The answer is literally none. I have some frame of reference going into this though. I've watched some Rimworld Let's Plays before, some of them like years ago when I remember nothing about them, some of them relatively recently while I was going to sleep as background noise. That doesn't give me a whole lot of information though. And I played Dwarf Fortress in the past. Originally this was going to be a Dwarf Fortress video. But then I opened up Dwarf Fortress and like, yes, this is hideous. Would anyone watch this? Would I watch this? Would I play this? And then I tried to, and I couldn't remember how to change Z levels, so I opened the help menu, and it took me about 2 minutes before I realized it was the plus and minus keys to go up and down in that menu. Not WASD, not the arrows, not tab, not anything that makes sense. Do you want more options or less options? And at that point I realized, you know what? Let's play a game that was actually designed to be played. Because Dwarf Fortress wasn't. Dwarf Fortress is kind of just like a medieval storytelling simulator that happens to be playable as a game. I think Rimworld would be a much more fun playing experience and viewing experience for everyone involved, so that's what we're going with. Now, even though I've never played it before, I have installed some mods. HugsLib is just a resource that doesn't do anything. Allow tool gives me a lot of new options that all essentially read micromanage less. EDB Prepare carefully allows you to select how your colonists start the same way you would in Dwarf Fortress. I'm probably not going to be using it at all, but I wanted to install it as a general feature. RimHUD is just a better version of the display. Why would I not want that? Predator, food, and blighted alerts all just tell me when things are happening that seems like they should be in the game already. Color-coded mood bar is just a UI thing, not super important. Realistically, I don't think this will change any part of my game at all, but I thought it was a nice UI change. Interaction bubbles is much the same. I can see what people are thinking instead of clicking on them and going into thought bubbles. Animal Variety Coach just gives a variety of appearances to random animals. Now the last two mods are the ones that are actually like not just UI stuff or appearance stuff, these are actually like very clearly power creep. So pick up and haul makes your characters use their inventory space when they're hauling things as opposed to just grabbing one item. I feel like that pretty much sums up why I'm using it. It seems nonsensical that if I micromanage them I can make them carry more things by using a system that's already in-game and just isn't applied to the hauling system. Now Infestation is clearly me making the game easier. However, Infestation is one of the mechanics that I remember from the game and thinking, isn't that complete bullshit? Just a chance to get screwed over if you live in a mountain? Because it's not like interesting difficulty, it's just like, either you instantly die or you're moderately inconvenienced, there's no middle ground. And it's just because you live in a mountain as opposed to somewhere else. It's not a, like, clever balancing mechanic, it just seems obnoxious and I don't want anything to do with it. So that's who I am, the mods I'm using, let's be bad at Rimworld. Okay, so I'm gonna be a little bit nitpicky here, because in general I dislike tutorials and I'm going into tutorial, so like obviously I'm gonna have kind of a bad time. But I do want to point out, this tutorial will teach you how to play the game is the most unnecessary text I have ever seen in a tutorial. Like yes, I clicked on the tutorial button, this was the implication. It made, like, I'd have been less mad if it said, welcome to Rimworld, this game is about a world that is located on the rim. Like, why are you telling me this? That's literally the definition of a tutorial. Alright, so I'm familiar with this, just world generation, same as Dwarf Fortress. It looks like you're able to pass off your seeds, so that's good. Let's just go with normal everything. So it said, so there was a setting, how much of the globe do I want to cover? And I thought that would be like the amount of water. I selected 50%, and I was like, that's kind of a lot of land mass, and I think it's really funny that globe coverage literally is just like, yes, it's the other 50% of the globe that has land. Why? Why is it like that? That seems very strange to me. So it wants me to start in a baby bitch biome of temperate forest flat terrain. Okay, so that's temperate forest flat terrain, let's do it. Okay. Somebody went through a great deal of effort to program this, and I don't know why. Watch when I try to hover over the tutorial. Whoop, it's over there now, and it's back. Over there now, and it's back. Why? Why is this a thing? Why does it run away from my cursor? What purpose does that serve? If this all seems like I'm nitpicking and not having a good time, I'm really enjoying this. These are very minor criticisms. Like, I don't know why this is a thing. This seems silly and pointless, but I enjoy that it's there. For all the wrong reasons, yeah, but I enjoy that it's there. Alright, what's interesting to me is, this tutorial screen literally says nothing about what any of these stats do, it's just like hover over them on your own time. But you can do that when making a normal world, right? So that's not really a tutorial. You'd think it would mention something like, by the way, you might want somebody who knows how to mine. Or if you bring a troop of, like, 3 people who are all incapable of what's important. What's something I can be incapable of that's important? Incapable of social, intellectual, artistic? He's literally a robot. Okay, this is what it's called. If you were to have, like, a team of 3 people incapable of dumb labor, you literally wouldn't function as a society. You would die because no one would haul the meat to the refrigerator, right? I feel like it should explain this a little bit more. That's the job of a tutorial. But instead it told me what a tutorial literally was and kicked me into the real world. Oh hey, I can regenerate and randomize them. I mean, I have a mod that I can just make them myself, but sure, be someone else. You're terrible. Incapable of caring? I don't know what that actually means. Maybe medicine? No, that would be like incapable of medical, right? What's caring? Is he just a dick? Because that's what it sounds like. I feel a lot better about the mod to make these people yourself, though. Because if you can randomize them, I can just do this until I got a good character anyway. Like, there's not a huge difference. What is Go Juice? Is addiction the same no matter what? Surely it's not. You would think the addiction would mention the problems that come with it. Regardless, we're not taking anyone addicted to anything with us because we're not going to have whatever they want. And I'm sure the addiction is bad. I'm sure whatever withdrawal they go through is going to suck. Alright, so these 3 people have incapable of a none, which is exactly what I want to say. None of them are, like, ancient. I don't know what qualifies as old in this game, but these people wouldn't drop dead in real life, and I'm assuming they're humans. Bad back seems pretty bad. Like, these old gunshots and bite scars don't seem important, but bad back seems really bad. That said, he has a burning passion and intellectual and a skill of 10. So, like, I'm probably not going to have him pursue his passion of being a construction worker with his bad back and all the gunshots in his right leg. But he could probably be an intellectual. Researching is a thing in this game. I remember this. So we could just have this guy do the research. That seems fine by me. So the McDonald's employee isn't very good at anything, which is unfortunate. Ugly's unfortunate, but super immune and jogger sound like, yeah, really good traits. So, like, even though she's not great at anything, she's able to make things. She's able to cook and plant and mine. Seriously, though, who has a passion for mining? None of my guys are good at shooting, really. That does make a decent case for Tom. He'd also be good at planting. So Tom could theoretically replace one of these people. And he's a fast walker, which is seemingly a really good trait. I feel like psychic sensitivity plus 80% is probably not a good thing. That's either really, really good or really, really bad, and I don't know which. The tutorial has made no mention of me needing things like shooting skill, so I'm just going to assume that I don't need to bring anyone who's good at it. Tom's really only got 2 pips of Burning Passion into 4, that's still quite bad, I think. 1 pip of Passion and 3 doesn't seem like it's going to be notably worse at the start of the game, which is when it matters the most, right? So it turns out there's no reason to bring Gaston. Since he's just here to research things, this Stereo guy is psychically deaf, has a great memory, he's incapable of art, who gives a shit, right? He's a better intellectual and he's great at shooting. Like, he's obviously coming instead. Incapable of firefighting, that's not what I like to hear. Listen to this person's traits. They're interested in chemicals, a fast learner, and a night owl, and capable of firefighting. Or, to phrase that differently, they're really clever, get into dangerous shit in the middle of the night, start fires, and then refuse to put them out. Oh no! I do enjoy that she has devilish pigtails, but I don't think that's, like, scripted at all. I think she just randomly has that, and I'm ascribing value to it that isn't there. Okay, so I'm just about ready to embark, but I didn't realize how ridiculous this man was the first time through. He is a psychopath cannibal who is extremely good with animals. I guess because he doesn't want to eat them as much as everyone else. On top of being addicted to whatever Go Juice is. Anyway, let's go. Okay, so the story is, you crash landed. Good. Awesome. Very straightforward. Okay, so this messed with me quite a bit. I thought that the map was scripted when I saw, like, this building pre-built here. I tried to put this stockpile here, and the game got mad at me. Because I was just looking, like, down here for the tutorial icons, and I was like, where do I build a stockpile? Inside this building, obviously. Apparently I need to come build it over here. In the cold, far away, instead of, like, behind mostly finished walls. Okay, so I could just, like, go through and drag over everything and allow it that way. That seems tedious as hell. Where's allow tool? So, I was going to find a lab tool and try to use that. However, the tutorial seems to have other plans. Okay, I'll do it your way, game. Now, admittedly, I might be judging a book by its cover here, but I feel like it's a bad thing that the game is telling me to build every single thing inside of one room. That can't possibly be optimal. So I want to cut down these trees, but the tutorial won't let me. So it's fine, we'll just have a bunch of trees inside of our house. It's just modern art, don't judge it. So, thankfully this dog just answered my question. This does not count as a wall, like at all. You cannot just use trees as walls in this. Okay, so control and shift clicking do it multiple times. If I click X, is there an infinity? Yes, there is. Fantastic. I want to demonstrate the confusion I was having. I was wondering why the game... I was trying to find this and it wouldn't let me, so I was like, do I have to do it the exact size? Does it want me to do it one at a... What's the problem? It's up here. Oh, so there are baby trees. This one is apparently too small to give wood. I'm guessing this is the same. Okay, I didn't realize that trees had age in this. I was wondering why all my shit was randomly piled outside instead of in the house. That would be because the tutorial told me to do that. Why? Why would it tell me to do that? Oh my god, Dwarf Therapist is literally built into Rimworld. Oh, thank god. Like, I knew Rimworld would have better UI for this, whatever it was, but I didn't think it would just literally be Dwarf Therapist. That's fantastic. I think it's really funny that we start with the knowledge of, like, passive cooling, complex clothing, electricity, and air conditioning, and nutrient paste, but making carpet or pemmican is just fucking beyond us. So I really dislike that you can't middle-click and scroll inside of the tech tree. Instead, it's moving around the map because it just clicks through. That just seems like an inconsistency in the UI that could easily be fixed. So I'm guessing from all this stuff that one of the endings to this is you leave. That we're just going to Subnautica style leave the planet. Oh, this is neat. You can replace lost limbs with bionics. Also, you can make turrets that shoot uranium slugs, which is a little bit silly. So I vaguely recall a lot of memes about organ harvesting. But I don't see anything on this that looks even remotely related, like bionics is the only thing I'm seeing involving that. So I'm guessing that harvesting someone's organs is a zero-tech action, which is surprising. I guess I'm going to go for solar panels first. I've got no idea what you're supposed to do here. I really enjoy that we're just building a pile of sandbags out in the middle of nowhere. Like, if we were to actually go out here and take up positions, they could just walk in our house, take all our shit, and leave. This is part of, like, the tutorial not working on a randomly generated map. I was sure this tutorial would be on a scripted map, but it doesn't seem to be. And I get why. That means, like, the tutorial isn't the same for everyone, but it's a tutorial. Who cares if it's the same? Like, no one's replaying the tutorial themselves. I don't know why this isn't on a scripted map, because it's clearly random. If this were designed, it would never look like this. I do enjoy that we make it a little napping spot for our dog, but, like, in retrospect, maybe we should finish our base just in a variety of ways, move all of the things we own inside of the house. You know, things that would make sense to do in a tutorial. But, in general, maybe the dog shouldn't sleep on the stove. That seems like a bad call. So each day seems like it means a lot more in Rimworld than they do in Dwarf Fortress. But the flip side of that is that night takes forever to pass and is really boring. It's basically a loading screen. I don't think it's like a particularly bad thing, it's just a different pacing of game. I should probably actually sort out my work thing now, since I'm supposed to be researching with this guy. Okay, so there's a toggle here where you can switch from just check or no check to giving priorities, and that's what I wanted. This is much better. Is there a way to just get rid of all of it? So if I copy one, I can paste it to the other, so I can just do it on one guy and then paste it to everyone. So I'm sure that this is all sorts of fucked and terrible, but it's what we're going to go with. Sorry, it turns out nobody can build anything right now. We're playing horseshoes. We have botched the final wall of this house twice now. Hey, we finally did it. I absolutely love this, because I would never have looked at this. Like, I'd have to see what they were thinking right now, I'd have to click on them during this and go to social. But now, I can, just while this is happening, I'm like, oh, hey, we're about to be attacked by raiders. And we're talking about balloons. That's great. And shoes. I think they might just be talking about parties in a roundabout way. Or at least clowns. Oh, here he is. He just took forever. This is one naked guy with a bat. This is hardly a raid. I can't help but feel we overreacted. So it's weird to me that this doesn't include descriptions of them. Oh, I have to click on them to figure out what they are. That's really weird. Okay, I literally can't show you. The UI for this screen before you've clicked somebody could be improved, because that's just bad. Like, once I leave, I can never come back and see how bad it is again. It always defaults to what it should have defaulted to originally. It should just start you off with this selected, with the selection line slightly more visible, so that you realize you can click through them and get different descriptions. That it doesn't do that's, bad. It's not important, like, I figured it out, and I'd have figured it out faster if I weren't talking about how I was confused because I'm making a video, but still, this is... The original UI for this was terrible. So, we're gonna be picking Cassandra Classic for sure, and I have absolutely no reason not to click the Savage button. I'm sure we can handle it, right? Okay, since we're no longer in the tutorial, we need to fix our god-awful base. So this is exactly like Dwarf Fortress. I've now Alt-Tab to search how do I move furniture. Okay, here it is. When I select the bed, I can reinstall it somewhere else. There we go. So I got confused because I can't reinstall sandbags. This is just up here forever. So it looks like you can only reinstall things that would go inside of rooms. Actual walls can't be reinstalled, which sort of makes sense. Okay, you know what? I'm actually not going to continue playing this game because I can't help but feel I spent the first 3 days building like the worst base you possibly could. This is god-awful to look at, and fixing it seems more difficult than restarting. Thanks, tutorial. You helped me learn what not to do. So, obviously, I didn't have a great time with the tutorial. I think it could be improved in just about every way, but I don't feel like spending a video critiquing something about the game that's all told relatively minor. So, let's figure out how the game actually works. There are a couple of different options. I feel like Crash Landed is the generic one. In fact, Crash Landed calls itself the generic one. In the future, I'm interested in trying out these other things, but that doesn't matter for me. Right now, we're just going to be playing vanilla. Next, we're going to be playing on... Starting on Savage is a little bit silly. I'm sure we'll manage to lose just fine on Medium, but I'd rather lose quickly and dramatically on Savage where I actually learn what I'm doing wrong as opposed to building bad habits. And we're going to be playing with Reload anytime because I'm terrible at recording things, and if I play this on Iron Man, I'm invariably going to forget something and just sort of ruin the series. You're just going to have to take my word for it that I'm playing on Bronze Man, and I'm only reloading for editing reasons, not for anything to do with actually save scumming. So it turns out there's another difficulty called Merciless that's just kept in a different box, and I can play it right now if I wanted to. In direct contrast to the tutorial, where I thought all of it was kind of poorly designed, having Merciless mode being separated out like this, but available from the start, it clearly conveys developer intentions about how you're not supposed to be playing this, but still allows the player the choice to do it. Because if it Merciless mode had just been like right here with a little asterisk next to it or a skull or something, just like only play this if you're a manly man, I'd have clicked it in a heartbeat. And that would have conveyed the exact same thing, but just far less effectively than separating it like this. So we're going to be playing on Cassandra Classic Savage, reload anytime. Let's do it. Wait, Happiness was the seed I just got. I want to play on Happiness. Alright, so this is my world, or more accurately, this is my half of a world, the other half doesn't exist. On my end, it's been more than a day since I've played the tutorial, and oh my god, this is still hilarious to me. Why wouldn't you just make the globe smaller? Just make it planet size instead of percentage of the globe that has a straight line of land cutting it off from the other half that wasn't generated. This looks jank as hell. This looks like something that was put in it during alpha with the intention of being something else, and then it never got changed. That's really funny. That's the kind of jank that only improves the game. I'm not actually mad that it's like that. That's charmingly bad. So, factions are generally unfriendly. No one really likes me, and there are a bunch of people who are hostile with me. If I'm remembering correctly, all that matters is that you have somebody who likes you and somebody who doesn't, and it just then pulls from the pile. It only matters if you're down to 0 on either side. Actually, I wonder if worlds have different numbers, or if it's always 3 hostile, 2 neutral. Oh well, not important right now. We want to be next to purple and yellow. And more importantly, I want to be on a river next to, like, either medium or big hills. That sounds interesting to me. So I found a mountain with a creek running through it, which is kind of cool. But that's not really what I'm looking for. One of the main differences between this game and Dwarf Fortress is that Dwarf Fortress is very much about building a vertical base. And this game only has one Z level, so I'm not so interested in playing on a mountain. I want to build a big, sprawling base on land. What if I didn't play on a river? What if I played on the shore somewhere? Are there any, hilly shores? Can I actually land in the ocean? No. Alright. I would have really enjoyed if we just landed and drowned. That would be like a huge waste of development time to program that Easter egg, but I would have enjoyed it nonetheless. So because of the way the tiles work, I'm not actually sure if you can get a coastal tile. I'm going to spawn over here in this flat tropical rainforest and see if I actually spawn next to a coast. Actually, I'm going to spawn somewhere similar to this, but not next to the red man. So this doesn't feel a whole lot safer, but I can sort of walk in a straight line to any of the factions. And I'm closest to yellow. I don't know if any of this even matters, like, at all. But I'm going to do this. Tropical rainforest. Hopefully the coast is a thing in this game. Let's see what happens. Lazy is the sort of trait that makes it really apparent that I have no idea what a mining level actually translates to. Because, like, is a level 10 lazy miner better than a level 8 miner or a level 5 miner? Like, what's that translate to? What is mining speed exactly determined by? Is something I've got no idea how it works. Lazy in general is a very bad trait, though. Like, I don't need to play the game to recognize that minus 20% things done is bad. Speaking of, hunger rate multiplier looking pretty terrible, too. Also, I'm not really looking for a doctor that learns quickly. I'm kind of looking for a doctor that's already learned to doctor. I don't know if that's asking for a lot, though. Incapable of skilled labor? Holy shit. So we have this man who only has a minor heart damage and is incapable of skilled labor. But it's alright, he's really good with animals. So I've hated everyone I've seen. I'm just going to go through and random everyone again. See if anyone shows up that actually looks interesting. And I'm just going to randomize like 2 or 3 times to the crew. I'm not actually going to use prepare carefully because it's my first game. Which partly is just like I don't want to be cheesy on my first game, and also because I don't know what's good yet, so what's the point? Incapable of violence, huh? What's the point? Get out. So this person seems really, really good. I'm hoping psychically dull is a good thing. I still don't know which way that swings. Lazy sort of sucks quite a lot. But 12 social with a burning passion. 1 cooking sort of sucks. I don't know how bad that's going to be, but 2 stars in it means that she's going to do well. You know, 2 stars, burning passion, they're the same, right? She's also good at construction and shooting. Like, this just seems like the sort of thing I need. Also, she's a mid-world cadet and a warship captain, which just sounds awesome. So I've random everyone who is left again. This guy seems very good. He's got a double passion for shooting and 11 in it. He's got a double passion in plants. And capable of artistic, who cares? And what are these? So it looks like all of this means that he insults people with bionic limbs, which is A, a long way off, and B, kind of funny since he's also like a human Adonis making fun of people for having hooks for hands. He seems all around very good to me. So right now I have cooking, planting, and shooting all thoroughly handled. So what I'm looking for on the other guy is like intellectual and medical. That human computer I had from the previous tutorial would be really nice about now. Permanent mood minus 12 sounds really bad. Now, I don't know if we're actually playing Dwarf Fortress here, but permanent mood minus 12 sounds bad. Dwarf Fortress didn't do it in those terms, but that sounds like at all times you just killed his puppy. I don't know how bad this is. I guess I'm probably just gonna play with this guy and see how bad it is. Okay, so I've random a couple more people just to like see what stats look like as they generate. I'm content with this crew. None of them are incapable of violence or dumb labor, which seems like the thing that I really, really care about. We've got 2 people who are quite good at shooting. We've got somebody who's going to be good at cooking and social, someone who's going to be good at planting, and someone who's going to be good at medical and intellectual. And all the other stuff is shit that I can figure out later. So yeah, let's go. Oh hey, you start with a cat sometimes. That's adorable. As soon as he comes out of the escape pod, he nuzzles his cat. He's so happy she's alive. Oh wait, it's the other way around, isn't it? Yeah. Well, the cat's happy he's alive. He's thinking of dogs? That's weird. Alright. So I got really mad at the tutorial because it told you to do a random series of things with no thought process behind them. and it calls your base to be terrible. And sure, that'll show you how not to build things. However, if that's why I'm at the tutorial, I'm going to do the opposite and grossly overplan my base, and I'll be back with you guys once I've done that. When I started to plan things and try to figure out where I'm putting my base, I did find out, yes, there is actually a coast on this map. Fantastic. So I have a couple of ideas with how I'm building this modular base layout. The first is that it needs to be symmetrical. That isn't important, but it's very important. So we're going with 31 by 31, and that seems random, but here's why. The first shape I care about is this windmill. And this isn't perfectly sized to the windmill, because that's the price you pay for symmetry. So the way I prefer to plan is like this, where I have everything filled in and I carve out what I'm actually planning. So the second shape I care about is actually this room here, which is essentially, counting the hallways connecting it, like a 13 by 12 block. It's just two 4 by 4 rooms across a hallway from two 4 by 4 rooms, connected by a hallway to the rest of the complex. And the reason I'm going with this is just because I need a modular design that includes 4 by 4 spaces, since 4 by 4, from what I've read, is the best size for a bedroom. And best size for a bedroom is apparently a massive can of worms in this game that I'm not going to get into, and I could be super easily misled about the subject. And these aren't all going to be 4 by 4. If I need to, I'll merge them together, but this is going to be the general shape that I'm choosing to make modular. And if I fill out the rest of this, then you can see that we kind of run out of space at the top. We can only do one more row of rooms. This last row of rooms doesn't really work. It can't be connected properly. And that's just something I've given up in the name of symmetry. Instead, the way I expect this last bit to work is that it'll just be a large open room, probably a stockpile room. And these are probably not going to be bedrooms, these are probably going to be a variety of crafting stations. I've got no idea how this is actually going to work, but this is my vague, terrible plan going forward, and hopefully by virtue of being modular, if I fuck this one up, I can just move on to one of the other 4 quadrants. Which moves on to like how we're actually doing this. We're obviously not building it all in one go, and you'll notice that this is really asymmetrical. Let me fix these other ones real quick. Now, as you can see, the total size of this is 67 by 67, we are a square, but this interior section is a rectangle, and I'm just going to have to live with that. Now, eventually I plan to allow this to open up in all directions and have 4 quadrants built fully out, flesh out the whole thing. But for right now, that's clearly not the world we live in. Instead, what we're likely to do is just build the bare minimum over here, and then wall off the rest of this, leaving only a kill box. Okay, I hate myself a little bit. I'm gonna move every single thing I've just made over about 3 tiles, so they don't need to mine this to set up a farm. Actually, I've just realized these are rocks, aren't they? I couldn't set up a farm here initially anyway. Also, this is water. I should plan more, shouldn't I? It seems like there's a whole lot of shit on the map that's getting in the way of my perfectly symmetrical plan. It's looking like the vast majority of resources I care about are on the right side of the map. Machinery, steel, gold, yet more steel. And all that's over here is, I'm going to assume fishing is a thing in this game. Alright, so I've turned down the music a bit, because that seems like it was probably really loud on the recording end. Alright, so for my dumb symmetry dreams, rather than trying to fight with all of these swamps, I now understand the kind of tile set that I wanted to play on, so we'll be back in a second. We've generated a much smaller world this time, and it looks like factions might always spawn 2 neutral, 2 hostile, 1 really hostile pirate band. So I want a non-rainforest coastal tile this time. Temperate forest sounds totally reasonable. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna spawn here, seems good. So this is just a totally normal guy who has good cooking, we'll take him. So this guy is a masochist, so he loves pain, but he's also a wimp, so it's really easy to hurt him. Which I think is a good thing? I don't know how that checks out. But he's good at medical and intellectual, and also mining. I don't know how much mining we're actually going to be doing. So this guy definitely has a role in our ship. But now we have 2 guys who are bad at shooting. So we kind of need a 3rd guy that's good at shooting and ideally growing as well. Yeah, I'll take this guy. 10 shooting, 4 plants. I feel distinctly like these guys are worse than my last group. But I don't know how to judge them, and I don't really care so much about this. I'm just going to get in and start building shit. It's unfortunate that when it said rainforest, I didn't understand that to mean everything is flooded. Okay, so we're now on another planet, notably less puddles around. We're in a temperate forest instead of a rainforest this time. And, by and large, much flatter, much more able to deal with it. Didn't feel like trying to plan around puddles in my first game. Although, in retrospect, I could probably just build floors over them or something, huh? Probably wasn't actually a big deal. Oh well, too late now. So, same exact plan. This time I've looked around the map, I found a place with fertile soil to plant my first farm on top of. Built the rest of it out from there. And eventually I'm going to need to, you know, kind of drill out a mountain to make the rest of this, but that's fine. Also, I'm remembering this being called an ancient danger. I don't know what's in them. I've never been awake when someone opened one, if anyone's opened one at all. It looks like I can just dig around it and have it be awkwardly in the middle of my hallway. I don't need to pop it open, it's fine. It's just funny and weird, so don't worry about that. But yeah, except for digging out the mountain and pretending this isn't bad, we're good. We don't have any other things we would need to do to manage this. There are just some walls that are kind of in the way, nothing that major. And in the short term, we're probably going to be using those walls, let's be real. For the incredibly short term, though, I want to just have everyone stockpile all their shit in this. And I just want this to store literally everything we have. Alright, so apparently I need to claim it for the colony. That's weird, but I've done that now. If it turns out that's going to get me raided by the previous owners, I'll be kind of upset. Okay, so we're going to unforbid everything. And that should start us hauling everything on the map to this new stockpile zone. And I feel like we're going to need a lot of wood to make this. Oh god, we're making this out of wood. It's fine, this will be the flammable part of the base. Every base needs to have a flammable part, that's mandatory, right? It can be like the French Quarter in New Orleans. Ah, shit. Shit. I don't think there's a way for me to avoid making this all out of wood. Well, there probably is, but I'm not going to think hard enough to find it, that's my verdict. Now, for like the immediate starting point of this, we're going to need 3 bedrooms and like at least a couple of other rooms. I'm going to build here for the sole reasoning that I can start off by using the wall instead of having to fight with it. So this is going to be 3 bedrooms, and it could be some other room back here, but I'll probably just end up designating this as another bedroom just for use with prisoners or doctors. Those should probably be different rooms, you know. The jail/hospital. There's a lot of extra stabbing victims in the hospital that we could have avoided, but it happens. They're already in the hospital. It's fine. And since we're going to need more than just this, we're going to need to wall in the farm, but that's not an immediate priority. We're also going to need to build, like, a room with a refrigerator, a butcher shop, a cold room to store shit in. It sounds like, in general, I just need to stop fighting it and build these 2 rooms. It seems like I should probably just do this, to have a butcher shop and a kitchen and a big freezer thing. I don't know for sure if cold air escapes in this game, but if it does, I can make an airlock. If not, my fever dreams have caused me to waste a bit of wood. Worse things have happened. And it occurs to me that I don't yet have a room to research in. I'll just have it be the research/prison/hospital room, because right now I've already got too much stuff queued up as it is. I shouldn't be queuing this much, and I feel like queuing any more is comically wrong. I want to roof over this area since I'm using it for a while. And I suppose I also want to just, like, build my beds now. In what is going to be the stockpile room. Like, for the time being, they just need somewhere to sleep. And now that I've made this a grow zone, I should be able to click on it to figure out what I plant. Shit, that's a good question. The wiki is saying potatoes and corn, and you know what? That sounds wholesome to me. Alright, so in grow zone 1, we're going to plant potatoes. And in grow zone 2, we're going to plant corn. And I've got no idea if that's right or useful or good in any capacity, but it's what we're doing. It occurs to me that perhaps we should put a door on top of our main base, or at least what qualifies as our main base at this moment in time. And I should probably read all these tips the learning helper is popping up. Alright, I know what alerts are, thank you. Yep, I know how to mine, thanks. Okay, so going back to the tutorials in this game being terrible. This is a really, really good example of that. They could have said the same thing in so many less words. If this just said forming caravan, and then all of the text beneath that was, you can leave. That would have told me just as much. I've got no idea what this system is, or what it's for, or why I would do it. Like, this isn't a tutorial, this doesn't help me. This just says, hey, there's a button on a screen that you're not on right now. It's like, alright, sure, but why are you telling me? What's it do? This isn't actually helpful. Yeah, Mark has learned, I guess. We're gonna put down a wood-fueled stove on account of not having power yet. Allegedly, these won't chairs. That seems pretty needy to me, but alright. I should probably have those chairs face the correct direction, huh? I wonder if the game actually takes that into account. Just throw down a horseshoe pen and pretend it's recreational. Okay, so we have our butcher, our wood-fueled stove, and our research setup. Setup is a generous term for me just hoping that people build these and start using them. Alright, so I think I need to make a work schedule at this point. I'm sure there's some optimization to be done here where these shouldn't all be ones, there should be a couple of twos thrown in. But I'm not going to bother with that just now. So people's actual jobs get put as 2. Right, we haven't landed yet. I was wondering what happened when I clicked on his name. I just jumped to nothing because I paused the game as soon as it started. Yes, of course. Now I'm setting everyone to not art, tailor, or smith just because that's not what we're about yet. I also don't know shit about wardening or handling. So I'm just turning it off. When I start getting into that stuff, I'll remember to enable whoever's best at it. I'm gonna have to let them land because I can't check their stats right now. Alright, we have a dog this time. I kind of missed the cat, but oh well. I'm not actually sure what plant cut is governed by. It could be melee, it could be plants. There's not a skill for wood cutting in this game. Okay, so this is what I've settled on for my work setup right now. I'm sure it's very wrong and there's lots of things that can be done better. And the more I worked on this, the more I realized that, maybe my starting team doesn't have the best composition, but oh well. Firefighting, patience, doctors, bed rest, urgent hauling, and basics all seem like they have to be handled, so I set them to 1 for everyone who could do it. Obviously, only the doctors. I understand that wardening, handling, smithing, tailoring, and art are all important, but those are things we're currently not doing, and I'll cross these bridges when I come to them. I have everyone set to craft, haul, and clean if they're not busy with something else. That said, I have constructing and plant cutting rated at a 2, which is equivalent to a primary job because it's just so important right now. I have Kiyoshi's main job as cooking. I have Chase's main job as researching, although he's also my #1 miner. And I have Rowan's main job as growing. And I figure researcher, cooker, grower is pretty much what you're supposed to have as your 3 main guys right now. So these 2 guys are so bad at shooting that I'm kind of considering just having one of them use their bare hands. But that can't be right. Rowan's fantastic at it though, so he's going to take the bolt action. We seem to come with extra clothes. Are people like not wearing clothes by default? And I guess everyone's going to start hauling stuff, but I'm trying to handle this. Or get equipment sorted, rather. So they can haul things right now, I don't really mind. And since this guy is the one I'm trusting to fight people, I'm going to give him all of the gear that seems like it actually does stuff. And I think it's actually time to unpause the game. Someday I'll put a Let's Play on my channel where I actually start playing the game without several minutes of deliberation before I even unpause it. But that day is not today. In fact, we're not even going to press unpause right now. I think that's the end of this episode. We'll get into just how bad I am at this game tomorrow, when all the terrible ramifications of my shit ideas come to pass. For now, this has been Rather Incoherent. I hope you had a good time. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that shilling channel growth nonsense. I'll see you around.